in a world where loyal companions await, one place stands as their beacon of hope. The Pet Resource Center of Hillsborough County, where you can adopt your very own superhero. Adopt a dog. Find your sidekick and unlock the power of unconditional love. And adopt today. For more information, visit hcfl.gov/pets.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Commission on Human Trafficking. So we are so excited to have you with us today, and I would just like to take a moment before we get started and just to let you know that the Commission on Human Trafficking has been established. We have established a period at each of our meetings to allow citizens to speak. This will be just in a few moments. Anyone who wishes to speak virtually or in person during the meeting may do so by contacting the Commission's administrator, whose contact information is on the Commission's webpage on the county's website at hillsboroughcounty.org. All speakers who wish to speak virtually will be required to provide their name, email address, and telephone number. This information is being requested to facilitate the public comment process. The chair will call on speakers by name in the order in which the request to speak has been received. Prioritization on a first-come, first-served basis. All virtual speakers will be muted upon joining the meeting and will be unmuted after being recognized by the chair name. The Commission respects the rights of citizens to express their opinions and concerns. However, the Commission requests that citizens present their concerns in a respectful manner to maintain a polite atmosphere where all individuals are respected. Up to 3 minutes are allowed for each speaker, and please, only 3 minutes. So as we get started, we'd like to call today's meeting to order. And the very first thing that we would like to do, can I go ahead and do the presentations first before we do a quorum, or do we have to do the quorum? Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Lisa. So I'd like to first call up for Gina Dickerson. We have a... I was going to say, Shayla. I'm sorry, Shayla, I forgot your last name. I apologize. So come on up here. And Dottie, will you join me, please?
Sure.
This is always a team effort. Those of you that know me, I'm always about teamwork, right? That's what drives this for us. All right. So, hey, how you doing?
I'm doing wonderful.
Yeah.
How are you all?
We're good, great. A little jet lagged. It's been a long week for the both of us, but thanks for asking so much.
course.
Always an advocate. You're always an advocate. But this is for Miss Gina Dickerson, right? So we're going to read it to her if you don't mind, right?
Of course.
So, dear Gina, one of the greatest gifts a person can give is of their time, right? You have demonstrated your concern for our community by having faithfully served on the Commission on Human Trafficking. The experience and wisdom you have brought to the Commission were invaluable. Invaluable to your fellow Commission members and improved quality of decision making. Please accept my sincere and our sincere thanks and appreciation to your many hours of service, and enclose a certificate expressing the Board of County Commissioners and our appreciation of your unique contributions to our community. And this is from Commissioner Ken Hagan, and of course all the Board of County Commissioners. And we just have a love for Gina Dickerson and for the Crisis Center and for all the incredible work that is done. So if you would please accept this for her.
Absolutely.
Right? And Lisa, could you just take a quick picture for Gina, just so we can go ahead and give it to her, if you don't mind? Thank you.
Certainly. Got my camera open.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. I'm sure that if she was here, she'd be absolutely appreciative.
Yes.
So thank you for your guys'
Yes, and very humble, because she's
Of
very humble. All
course.
right, stay, we have one more, my friend. Stay up, stay up. And then Beverly, please. Hotel Motel Association. Yes, we always love all the work that you guys do, and thank you. We're going to miss you.
I'm gonna miss being here too.
Yes, but thank you. So also, right, one of the greatest gifts, and you know this, one of the greatest gifts a person can give is absolutely of their time. And you have demonstrated it. You really have gone over and above with so many things that we've asked and have, I don't know if we've needed, but with the commission, some of the things, and especially when it came to, doing our training and et cetera, and really stepping in with that, and concerns about our community, and have faithfully served on the Commission of Human Trafficking. The experience and wisdom that you have brought to the commission has been really very invaluable to our fellow commission members and have improved the quality of our decision making. Please accept our sincere thanks and appreciation for your many hours of service, And enclosed is our certificate expressing the Board of County Commissioners' appreciation on your contributions to the community.
Thank you very much.
There you go, and there's your beautiful certificate, and thank you so much for everything.
All right. Beautiful.
It has been an honor to work with each of you, so I will continue to support not any way I can personally moving forward. So I look forward to seeing eradication of this human
Yes,
trafficking.
perfect, thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks, Dottie. Thank you.
I think we should give both of them a big round of applause.
There is truly no I in teamwork, right? So, absolutely. Thank you, thank you. So at this time, Lisa, when you have a moment, can you determine our quorum, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
Chief Judge Sabella, Commissioner Cepeda, Misty Halsey, message she's going to be virtual. So HTV, do we have somebody on the WebEx? Can you check, please? HTV, can you check if we have somebody on WebEx?
Who was the person that you were looking for?
Misty Halsey?
I'm not seeing anyone signed in under that name.
LaPierre? She might have a
No,
different
ma'am.
last name. No? Okay. Vice Chair Groover Skipper? Shayla Gonzalez?
Present.
Thank you. School Board Member Gray?
Present.
Thank you. Sergeant Wood? Thank you. Major Bauman? Beverly Mulligan-Yecki just left. Chair Rose?
Present.
Detective English?
Present.
Ryan Feist?
Present.
And we also have, did he leave? We had with us Charles Klug, but he has already left. Bureau Chief Mobley?
Present.
Thank you. Member Petrolak?
Present.
Deputy Chief Boulos?
Present.
Thank you. Detective Aguiar?
Present.
Thank you. Detective Kelly?
Present.
Thank you. Member Williams?
Present.
Thank you. Member Karada?
Present.
All right, so we have 12. Madam Chair, you have a quorum with 14 members in person. And I'm
Thank
sorry, my computer decided not to connect to the internet, so I'm flying a little blind here.
All right, so are you not able to see, because I can see people, but I can't reach.
You can pull that closer to you. We have, first up on the agenda, public comment. So if you would like to call the individuals who signed up in order of their signatures.
Yes.
Thank
So we're ready for public comment. Just a gentle reminder, 3 minutes per speaker. And Alan, I believe you're our first public comment.
My first time. Is this on? Is this where we do it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me okay? My name is Alan Texera, and I have purchased sex on the streets of Tampa Bay 1,500 times. I'm going to let that sink in. Now that I have your attention, 5 years ago I founded an organization called the Sexual Integrity Project. It is the only anti-human sex trafficking organization that I know of in our area that targets the problem from the demand side. We have some fantastic technology that's been developed over the last 20 years that has the power to help anybody overcome any unwanted sexual behavior. It's very powerful. Because of my history, which was driven by addiction and the fact that I felt horrible about what I was doing and I was powerless to stop it, I wanted to atone for that behavior. So we have data on 14 recovered sex buyers, and that data is very illuminating. It shows that those 14 men have collectively displaced over 125,000 hours of consumption of explicit pornography online. They have displaced over 18,000 sex purchases, which is the equivalent of bringing 5 years of freedom to one sex trafficked person or putting a trafficker out of business for a year. So I'm not talking about putting a trafficker in jail and some other jerk takes his place and the activity still happens. It did not happen. Our process wipes it off the face of the earth. It is successful, it's scalable, and it's sustainable. So we took a condensed version of what we do and created a John School curriculum with it, if you will. It's approved in the 13th Circuit, but it is not John School. John School is education. John School is short. John School does not work if you're motivated by addiction. And that same data I told you about suggested over 92% of the sex purchases are motivated by addiction. So we need a trauma-informed sex addiction recovery approach to this problem. That's what we have. The Sexual Integrity Project is working with local and state government, our legal community, our law enforcement. We want to stand this up in 2026 so we can start receiving a flow of these men. And if we do, we will turn the tide on human sex trafficking in Tampa Bay. My contact information is on the sheet if anybody wants to discuss it in more detail. Thank you so much for letting me speak today. God bless you.
Thank you, Alan. Oh, we do have a minute. Does anyone have a question for Alan? Okay.
No questions? Come on, that was a load of bricks. You got to have a question. I'll answer it quickly. No questions?
Okay, one question. We have
Okay.
like less than a minute.
Can you just briefly explain exactly this process you're talking about?
Yeah, well, it's a trauma-informed recovery process. We have workbooks that were written by scientists that have very provocative questions to get to the root of that trauma. There's a lot of journaling. We off-source to different therapeutic sources to help them unpack that. That's what drives the whole show, on the victim side and the buyer side. It's unresolved trauma.
So essentially, it's an organization that just does treatment for buyers of sex?
Yeah,
essentially.
we put them
Okay.
through 2-hour weekly meetings. That process needs to really take a minimum of 200 hours. Men in recovery, to totally overcome this, spend 3 to 5 years. Now, the John University can't be that long, but in 24 hours or 12 weeks of 2-hour meetings, we can show them that they're not alone, there is a way out, and inspire and educate them so they can join one of our recovery groups at the nonprofit, which are free, and do the long, hard work of becoming healthy again.
Thank you for the information.
Yes, you're welcome.
Thank you, Alan. Christina?
Good afternoon. My name is Christina Bassan, and I bring greetings from the Free Network by way of overview of history. It started in 2009 with the Community Campaign Against Human Trafficking, and there were so many people involved that even when it had to move on with disbanding of task forces, the Free Network decided to keep it going because the importance of a unified message and community awareness and involvement. We found that so many more people care than are involved. And so that passion had to keep going with real ways for people to be involved. So in 2014 is when it was rebranded as the Free Network. And the goal is really, everyone's using the word collaboration, but it's definitely the focus and the main thing that we want using the word network. And so it's not just a word. So there are direct things that have happened, making backpacks for law enforcement and survivors for those kind of outreach efforts, awareness campaigns, things around the Super Bowl. And then the networking that happens at the International Association of Human Trafficking Investigators and Shared Hope conferences, we're going to always show up. There are 5 board members. We all have regular jobs. This is not a money thing. This is something that we're passionate about, and we're not, just so you know, I'm not here asking for money. We just want to say hello and say what we're doing. The networking has to be about this unified approach. We have to do it together. And we have hundreds of people that do care, and so getting us to the table, whether it's on a Zoom call or in person, is the way that it can happen, and listening to everybody and coming up with this work together. So, of course, that starts with the survivors. Their input, their influence, their leadership is absolutely crucial. And then the rest of us can come alongside with them and see what we can bring to the table to really see these things happen for transformation. And someone said, even if everyone was rescued today, we would still have an issue. So we have got to keep this collaborative, unified approach to keep happening. So you're going to start seeing invitations from us. There are things coming up, and we would love to see a strong presence from Hillsborough County. We have bi-monthly Zoom meetings where different people present their group, and then conversation takes place as far as between them through the chat room or whatever. Hey, I need that resource. I have somebody, and that's a really good thing that happens. The next one is December 10th with the group involved with Operation Home for the Holidays is going to be doing a report the same way we had Operation Dragon Eye report to us, and probably the best attendance on a call that we ever had, because people care and they want to know. And when we talk about, there's this difference between cooperation, coordination, and collaboration. And those efforts are perfect examples of true collaboration, and so we support it. Annually, there's an in-person sit at the
request for your support of us for a letter of recommendation in which we have requested, or we're putting in a request for state appropriations of $800,000 to fund the CHANCE program. As you know, Hillsborough County is a hotspot when it comes to trauma informed care, especially when it comes to aligned with human trafficking. 60% of those, unfortunately, are those who have been tied to the child welfare system. And so the CHANCE program had originally in 2013 been established by the Citrus Network in Miami-Dade and Monroe counties. It has a long-standing track record of success based on the University of South Florida's testing and references, et cetera, along with the Department of Children and Families. To compound that, the Children's Home Network expanded the program in Pasco County in 2023, and it has also hosted an awesome track record. So we deemed it best as part of the Children's Network of Hillsborough and our heart being with the Hillsborough County to also request such funding to establish such a well-sounded program here, because our county deserves that too. Thank you.
You're welcome, and thank you. Thank you so much. And at this time, Lisa, excuse me about that. Are you able to do a staff report? Are you up and running, Lisa?
I've got help here, but Director Wagner is up first.
Oh, I am so sorry. I don't see it on here, so I apologize for that.
Whose glasses? Okay.
See, healthcare services is always at the ready.
We try. Good afternoon, everyone. Kevin Wagner, Healthcare Services Department. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Hillsborough County Healthcare Plan, but the reason why we're here when we talk about the commission, there are partner agencies, providers, this can be a resource for, as well as for the survivors that this resource can be for the Hillsborough County Healthcare Plan. So we just want to start that conversation and look forward to future conversations. The healthcare plan, who and what we are a no-cost healthcare program for the Hillsborough County residents who are income eligible. But one of the things that is important about us is we are a 34-year-old program, right? This program has been around since 1991. We stand on the shoulders of very good, very smart county commissioners, county leadership, and staff offering this program to the community. So this is, again, a no-cost program for the low-income, uninsured residents of Hillsborough County, which potentially the survivors of human trafficking could potentially qualify. Annually, we serve around 23,000 to 24,000 individuals unduplicated. We have contracts, relationships with the county hospitals, 13 hospitals and clinics, access to specialty care and such, and offering prescription care and prescription medicine. We are an integrated primary care model. So what does that mean? When this was started in 1991, the goal was to reduce overall healthcare costs in the community by individuals, instead of going straight to the ER, which is the most costly, most type of care possible, it was to get individuals into their medical home, their primary care, which many of us have, right? That is where you get your medical management, that's where you get established, that's where you start your care. So this is a medical home standpoint. Primary care is our basis, and that's in that one corner, physical and medical care. We've also added over time substance abuse and mental health treatment. That was one of our founding documents. We've added that greatly in the last 8 years. We also work for social determinants of health because we understand that individuals who are on the healthcare plan have many challenges. Maybe it's education, maybe it's food insecurity, transportation, and the like. And then we partner with community-related partnerships and resources such as LEO, some individuals in this room, and many throughout the county. So it's really an integrated medical home standpoint, starting with primary care. Looking at our types of services, we are a very comprehensive type service for the individuals. This is a wheel chart that we're real happy that we created. Primary care is offered vision, urgent care, mental health, oxygen, substance abuse, and others. So from a care standpoint, Hillsborough County is really committed offering a comprehensive version of care for our individuals. So again, for the low income and income eligible. Our eligibility criteria, again, it has to be certain things to be eligible, absolutely, for any program. Documented resident of Hillsborough County, U.S. citizen, obviously, income at a certain level below 175% of the federal poverty level. We have an asset test, make sure they don't have a house or 2 houses, and must not be eligible for any other health care coverage. So this is the general. We can get into specifics on questions. We review those applications through an online portal. We get documentation, and we can enroll people in little as less than 5 days. Our network of care, again, for the primary care network, we have about 30 locations for primary care. Suncoast Community Health Centers, Tampa Family Health Community Health Centers, Bay Care, Tampa General Medical Group, part of Tampa General Hospital, and IBIS Healthcare, which is formerly Grace Point and Cove, merged not too long ago. So we really do have a comprehensive care that I think could align with some of the partners and providers here. QR code for everyone watching and for being here to apply. It takes us directly to our website, hcfl.gov/healthcare. We have an opportunity for our call center line, 272-5040. That's the healthcare plan in a great sense, but we also offer other supporting integrated programs. Our SOAR, it's basically helping people at risk of homelessness or chronic homelessness get SSI and SSDI. We've started this program probably about 7 years ago, and it's paid for itself. We pay for staff, they get people on SSI and SSDI, and they bring in revenue for those individuals at risk of homelessness or chronic homelessness to be able to pay for food, be able to pay for apartments, pay for clothes. So that's been a great program, and we're very efficient at it. Our Healthy Living Wellness Program, that's for all citizens of Hillsborough County. healthcare plan members, they can go to the neighborhood service centers, Lee Davis, Ruskin, Plant City, and get free personalized wellness care, one-on-one counseling, nutrition classes, access to exercise equipment and such. And then the social determinants of health that I mentioned as part of our integrated care model, we are working with local partners and providers for economic stability. Healthcare, obviously, that's us. Food insecurity, transportation, such as Sunshine Line. So we really look at things from a social determinant of health standpoint. The last slide here, which is one that when I was speaking with Commissioner Cepeda about, was the opioid settlement funds. Right, Hillsborough County, and we like to get this promoted out into the community, Hillsborough County is going to receive $126.5 million of opioid settlement funds over the next 18 years. Not all at once, but they'll come in buckets of 8, 9, 10 and such over the next 18 years. So we have a plan that is approved by the Board of County Commissioners through one of our subcommittees, the Behavioral Health Task Force, to allocate that funding through prevention activities, education, treatment, and recovery. And you can see the percentages and the dollar amounts on the slide. So that's $126 million over the next 18 years. To date, this past year, about 6 months ago, we've issued a request for application for about $25 million, because that's been received. We put $25 million out on the street. We received 35 to 36 applications across those 4 areas, prevention, treatment, and such. We're funding a number of those through the Board of County Commissioners. We are bringing, of these contracts and applications, 16 to the Board of County Commissioners, the goal in December, for about 21 million of that 25 million, and then the remainder contracts of 5 or 6 in December to the Board of County Commissioners for these opioid settlement funds. So we're very excited about that. That's a great opportunity. The reason why this slide is here is to get the word out, right? When we issued the request for application, just like an RFP, we got some new partners, which is a very good thing, but we could always get more. The foundational documents for these funds are very broad in the sense of what can be offered. So we want more partners, we want more applications, and when we do another RFA in about a year, we want to get opportunities. We know that in Hillsborough County, being nearly 1,000 square miles, the need in the Northwest is different than the Southeast versus the East versus the West, right? So we casted a wide net on purpose to get these partners, and by God, we did. We got new partners who Boys and Girls Club, Timothy Ministry Initiatives. So we got other partners that we don't normally work at the table, which we're very proud of. But that's why I'm here as well mentioning this. When we do this RFA, for those partner agencies who deal with survivors, we would love to do RFAs and get proposals in. It is very broad, it's very opportunistic. I just want to bring that to your attention. We do have an outreach team. We have a couple outreach team, and we're always expanding. That's on the slide. Feel free to reach out to my staff. They do a great job to go to the individual partner agencies to speak at any level of the organization. Happy to do that. We want to get the word out about the healthcare plan and the opioid settlement funds. And with that, I'll take any questions from the commission.
Thank you so much for that comprehensive report, Kevin. Thank you so much. Have a question about the healthcare plan. Off the top of your head, what would be main barriers for a victim of human trafficking or a survivor of human trafficking not to be able to be on the Hillsborough County healthcare plan?
So I'm going to let my certification manager answer that as well. But I think a lot of it would just be, barrier would be awareness, right? And access to other insurance. Because one of the things, we are the payer of last resort when someone doesn't have any other care options available to them. So that would be the biggest thing if they have Medicaid or Medicare or some other thing. That's generally one barrier. And then the other barrier is access and awareness, right? I mean, we are a 34-year-old program, and we meet people daily. I didn't know about this program. So that's really the two biggest things, ma'am. And Phil, you have anything to say?
Sure, why not? My name is
State
Phil.
your name for the record.
My name is Phil Conti. I'm a certification unit manager here at Hillsborough Healthcare. I think what Kevin said is important, awareness. I mean, we presently have a census of about 17,000 people that we provide services to, which is access to this network of care. And you know, we can always find more. Now, you know, I know that the survivors or victims of human trafficking fly under the radar. So really, it's just a matter of identifying them and providing them with this. It's really important, too, because once we take the ability to pay for medical care and access to good medical care off of the table.
I think one off the website, really, htfl.gov/healthcare. Obviously, contact me. Contact me. Contact Phil. Contact our outreach team that I showed you earlier on the slide. All of that's integrated within our department, right? We have a project coordinator, and she's doing a bang-up job. But any access through the healthcare side, we can get it then. So biggest thing is contact me, contact Phil, call our office.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you.
Is it possible when you are sending out, is it the RFA, is it the RFA? Is that send out?
I see no issue with that. So we could work with Lisa on that and sending that to her. We have no issue.
Thank you again. And then at this time, Kenny Bryant, the Assistant Director of Program and Property Services for the Tampa Housing Authority. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. And I'm here to talk about the Tampa Housing Act in 1939, and we provide housing opportunities for residents in the Tampa Bay area. The agency currently administers public housing units, rental assistant demonstration, which we call RAD, housing vouchers, and other special rental assistance programs. We're located, our central office is 5301 West Cypress Street, right across the street from the airport, which we're currently in their flight. Our portfolio contains the public housing and RAD, as I mentioned, roughly, and that includes family development and senior developments, because we do service families, seniors, and youth. Affordable assistance. Our Section 8 voucher program, we have approximately 10,161 units, and those cover the vouchers, portable families, housing opportunities with persons with AIDS, shelter and care, HUD Veterans Assistance Programs, family unification programs, mainstream programs, and emergency housing vouchers. And yes, there is a wait list. We have a wait list of approximately 14,700, and that was in December of 2023. Under our public assistance housing and our RAD properties, it's 13,975. Section 8 housing, 819. And we are well aware of the fact that although we provide the housing, it still seems to be not enough. The demand continues to grow. So in our strategic plan for our next 5 years, we have committed to building even more units, or buying even more units, tiny homes, things of that nature, in order to continue to try to keep up, or at least try to do our part with the need that we see. I don't know if we can keep up, but we're definitely trying. Now, some of our new communities, because as you ride around Tampa, I grew up here, and as you ride around Tampa 30, 40 years ago, you could spot public housing from a mile away, okay? The yellow paint, the green paint, the light blue paint. We've all seen it. But what we've done, under the leadership of our senior staff, what we've done is we have reinvented our communities from just public housing communities to mixed income communities. And this particular community is called West River. Now, there's 4 main towers at West River, and if you're from here, West River, this community is located where North Boulevard homes were. If you were traveling south on 275, I-275, and you look to your right, just, after leaving downtown, you saw North Boulevard homes. But if you drive there now, you would think that it is some large developer that is constructing this beautiful community. Well, it is. That large developer is us. And it is a mixed income community because we actually have Lennar Homes building homes there. We have a Publix that's there. We have a pharmacy that's there. So it's not just about providing a place for people. It's about providing a community for people, some place where they can be proud, and some place where they have services and the assistance in order to succeed. Also in that area, we have another community within the community called the Canopy. That also has the 4 towers. And lastly, in that community, we have the Renaissance at West River, our senior communities, J.O. Young. And J.O. Young is actually located on North Florida Avenue, is where that is. And that's one of our senior communities. The other one is Mary McLeod Bethune, which is in the West River community, which has just been remodeled, and it is beautiful. If you ever get a chance to go over there, it's right in the middle. It's right in the middle of the West River community, and I was just there a few days ago, and it is a beautiful location, and it is something to be proud of. Over closer to here, we have something called the Encore. Well, the Encore used to be Central Park Apartments. Okay, back when I was a kid, we used to call them Central Park Projects. Okay, that is no more. That has been converted to and rebuilt, totally rebuilt. It is a LEEDs building. We have all kinds of environmental awards for these buildings, and those buildings are the Trio, the Tempo, the Ella, and the Reed. And there's a musical theme down there, and if you go down there, you'll see why. There's Ray Charles Boulevard. Ella is the Ella Fitzgerald building. So it is beautifully architected. If you have a chance to go down there, take a look around. Not only are the buildings there, but as well, I said it was mixed income. There's shops that are down there. There's parks that are down there. And it is actually a wonderful transformation. These are just photos of our additional property spread throughout Tampa. And as you can see, the architecture is all different depending on the neighborhood and the location of where it is. And so they are all designed to blend into whichever neighborhood they happen to be located. Here's other examples that we have here. Now let's get into human trafficking. There is a big push at the Housing Authority for human trafficking, okay, for monitoring, detecting. We've set up a hotline. We have training to the Housing Authority staff. We put a hotline in, and you can see the number up there. It is extension 2900 in addition to the National Trafficking Hotline. We promote awareness of human trafficking hotline, which is the number that's stated there, to report to emergency law enforcement. We develop and disperse human trafficking flyers and posters all on our property. Our CEO, Jerome Ryans, has developed a blog that is now on our website, thafl.com, where he puts out information for human trafficking, where you can help, how you can help, what we can do, and things of that nature. Again, like I said, we're very, very concerned about our residents. I personally have staff under my director's direction, personally have staff that's on property, passing out flyers, checking out families. Public safety is on property. Did we see anything suspicious? If we did, how do we report it? Where do we report it? And just doing wellness checks, just random wellness checks on all of our properties, just to make sure that our residents are safe. And not just the residents, adjacent communities as well. So it's not like we walk in the gate and there's a wall and then we don't pay attention to anyone else. No, adjacent communities as well. So if our building is in your community, we are watching and we are reporting. Okay, and we are there to help and we're there to assist. We have a letter from the CEO to the residents. THA's effort to educate, advocate, and collaborate with organizations for human trafficking awareness, partners with local agencies and government, strategies to combat human trafficking, keep informed current human trafficking news in the local communities, and use of social media and platform and awareness about human trafficking. So you would ask, okay, well, why the effort? Well, what we've found is that the lower we go on the socioeconomic ladder, the more you're at risk. And we have found that, and we have seen that, oh, this person won't be missed. Oh, that person won't be missed. Yes, they will, because they are someone to someone. And so it doesn't matter to us where you are, where you live, how you live, you matter. And we want people in our community to know that you matter, we care, and we're doing something as much as we can to protect that community. Now, my department is Program Property Services, and like I mentioned before, we serve supportive services to youth, families, and seniors. We do assessments, referrals, resources, educational workshops, academic enrichment, health and wellness, field trips, special events. One of the things that I like to tell my staff, educational workshops are so important. Yes, the field trips are nice. They are, okay? The community centers that we have are nice. That's great. But one of the things I like to say is that I don't want the world's greatest Madden football player to be illiterate. I don't want the greatest high school basketball player to be illiterate. And so we have programs, several youth programs, several case management programs, where we drive this point home, that no matter how high you can jump, how fast you can run, or whatever it happens that God gave you the ability to do, your education will always be more important than that. We have case management services, coordinating supportive services and other activities to assist residents making progress towards achieving economic and housing independence for the quality of life. Well, how do we do that? What we do is we have job developers. We have our youth department, our youth counselors, our senior counselors working with case managers, whether it's education, whether it's job search, whether it's family services that you need. We have a comprehensive system to where we all work together to achieve the same goal. Our case management for youth services continued is tutoring services, recreational sports, computer technology, financial literacy, prevention counseling services, and cultural arts. Financial literacy, I'm finding, and I didn't attend Hillsborough County Public Schools, but what I am seeing, and what I even saw when I was growing up here, is that I was running into peers that didn't know how to write a check. And I know we don't write checks anymore, I get it, but it's still nice to know. You know, I understand that. You know, how do you look at a bank statement? How do you read a bank statement? How do you start a savings account? What do you need to start a savings? These are the things that we work with our youth on. These are survival skills. These are educational skills. We look at preventive counseling services. What does that mean? What that means is we are there before you commit the crime. We are looking, our case managers, our youth counselors, our family counselors, our senior counselors are there before it happens. And we can all meet on the back end and say, what can we do, what can we do? But our question to ourselves at the Housing Authority is, what could we have done to prevent this? And that's where we are. So we try to attack the problem, knowing that there is a problem on the front end. And then on the back end, yes, we're there too. We're at the courts. We're before the judge. We're all of that. But I'd rather be on the front end. So we cover all angles of this aspect. Case management for youth. We do career planning and development, like as I mentioned, for our job developer. Employment readiness, educational skills, life skills, health and behavioral, legal assistance, and supportive services. One of the things under our educational services is we like to say, we want to go to college, we want to go to college, we want to go to college. Well, not everybody wants to go to college. Some people want to go to technical school, okay? One of the most valuable people in my life are my HVAC people and my auto mechanic, okay? What about the military? So we try to find these things and present these options to many, many of our youth and provide them a way and show them a way of how you can be self-sufficient. Gone are the days of living in public housing for 40 years, and then your kids do the same, and then your kids. We are here to break the cycle. That's what we're here for. For our families, we do assessments, career planning, development. Same thing, educational services, job readiness and employment, assistance, life skills, housekeeping, education, individual and family counseling. If you buy a house and you don't know how to take care of the house, how long are you going to have the house? You're not going to have it very long. We teach about property values. If you have a house, we don't want that house to go down because now property values have dropped and you've lost money. So these are the things that we explain to them. As well as family, along with families, we do mental health and behavioral, legal assistance, child care, transportation, financial literacy, and again, homeownership. Case management for our seniors include housekeeping, education, health and wellness activities, ESOL, literacy, digital technology, monthly birthday celebrations in December, and I can tell you personally, that is a sight to behold. So I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to speak in your presence this morning, and I'd like to thank you on behalf of the Tampa Housing Authority. Jerome Ryan's our CEO and president, and I'll open the floor for any questions that you may have.
Well, first, I want to say thank you, and thank you so much for what the Housing Authority is doing around human trafficking and what you're doing in the different communities.
Yes, ma'am.
Very, very appreciative. I live in Tampa Heights. Robles Park is, right down the street.
Yes.
Grew up here.
Yes, ma'am.
So thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Any questions? Yes, Alex.
Yes, hi. Thank you very much. That was a really strong quality presentation. It's amazing what you do in the community. And also like to thank you for your thorough awareness of human trafficking and how you present it in that community. I guess my question is there any thought to perhaps any kind of, out of your inventory of units, a carve-out for victims of human trafficking on some preferential basis when in some point of their journey they would be applicable for shelter and housing? Sometimes they have a hard time competing under normal circumstances. So is there anything preferential that could be done for those victims?
Sorry. I believe that there is, because that is something that's been discussed among our executive staff for human trafficking victims as well as homeless veterans. So yes, we don't have a comprehensive plan at this particular time, but the way that our agency works, that once we're discussing it among the directions, our gentlemen, as I mentioned, like Jerome D. Ryans, Leroy Moore, they will find a way. They will find a way and we will execute that. But it is something that we're completely aware of and we're sensitive towards. So I'm sure that that's something that we will have coming.
I would just like to say I've been slightly involved with the Tampa Housing Authority for many years, and it's near and dear to my heart because that's where my anti-trafficking journey began over 40 years ago. Some young lady in a self-esteem class that I was teaching at the Housing Authority location. It turned out she and her 4-year-old sister were trafficking victims, and that began my journey over 40 years ago. So the Tampa Housing Authority has a very special place in my heart, and I have worked with Mr. Ryans and several people at the Housing Authority. Just gave a human trafficking presentation at a community center about 6 months ago.
That was our community center. I was
Yes.
there. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I thought you were there.
I was there.
And looking forward to doing more. I believe in December there might be another
Yes, there
one
is.
coming up.
As
So-
are we. Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
So, thank you.
Thank you.
you for being so astute. And I was very thrilled to be able to help with helping to get content for the posters and flyers a few years ago when y'all did that.
Yes.
So,
So we look forward to seeing you in December as well, because this is an ongoing effort
yes.
for us.
You guys are really on top of it, and just thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions?
I do have a question. More specifically to the case management services for youth.
Yes, ma'am.
Is this automatic that's offered to families, I guess, that live there and then they request, or do you, I guess, is there a referral process? So if there's a provider that works with youth that live in the community, I guess, and they are requesting tutoring service, life skills.
Yes, ma'am.
Some of these like career planning development, or are those just workshops that they
No,
attend?
not workshops.
Yes.
We try to make this as seamless as possible. And what I mean is we don't have a whole lot of red tape when it comes to youth services, and when it really comes to all of our services. We have 4 locations for youth services, on-site locations. We have the Oaks Riverview Community Center. We have a partnership with the City of Tampa at the MLK Center. We have a small center down at the Arbors down in South Tampa. And we also have a center at Seminole Moses White, which is on the east side of Tampa. Now, if they are in those areas, we recruit. Our counselors go out on property and recruit and ask you to come into this program, and this is what we provide. In addition to that, we have referral services to the Boys and Girls Club, who's been a wonderful partner to us. So no, you don't have to, if you're in the vicinity of any of those properties, or if you can get to any of those properties, you're welcome. As well as our summer programs as well. I think this summer program I'll use the Oaks Riverview Community Center as an example. Summer program at the Oaks Riverview Community Center this year was 135 youth on property with a waiting list, and those that we turned away, we've referred them to the Boys and Girls Club or to our other properties as well. So no, we try to make it as seamless as possible. If you can get there, these are available to you, because we feel like there's enough red tape, there's enough places that say, yeah, but. We're not yeah, but. We're just yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Lisa, would you like to do the staff report before I do my report?
One thing I would like to do
Yes.
before we get into the staff report, so no, I'd prefer you to do your report first, but I do want to, excuse me, ask for a motion and vote for the meeting recap. And I do want to state for the record that Ms. Gonzalez has to refrain from voting. She has not yet been confirmed by the Board of County Commissioners. So, just if we could do the recap first.
Absolutely.
I'll move it.
Thank you.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passed.
Thank you.
Thank you. So in the chair report, the first thing on the chair report is the BOCC tour. So we have spoken a couple of different times about when the Commission on Human Trafficking was first created. I believe back in 2019-ish. Don't quote me on that. Sorry. It's been a long week. I apologize. One of the things that was done was a tour. We took out the Board of County Commissioners on a tour. As a matter of fact, Natasha from Redefining Refuge was the one that actually put together the tour along with Hart and along with former Commissioner Kimberly Overman. And we literally got on one of the Hart mini buses, is what I call them, right, the little short bus, and we went on a tour throughout the county to some of the different hotspot tracks, et cetera, hotels, motels, and really showed the commissioners, you know, where this really does happen, how it happens, what it looks like, some of the different signs, et cetera, to look for, because quite honestly, they had not ever been on a tour like that. They really weren't quite sure. And when we talked about things like corridors, tracks, et cetera, when we talked about things that happen on Florida Avenue, Nebraska Avenue, you know, Bears, Bush, you know, Bush Boulevard, et cetera, just some main quadrants, right? They kind of had an idea, oh, yeah, because they heard about it on the news, et cetera, you know, but to really see it with their own eyes and to drive around in certain areas without giving it too much away, since this is televised, we thought, why not? You know, we have a lot of new commissioners, you know, et cetera. Why not do another tour? And so we have already had some basic conversations as we've gone in front of the Board of County Commissioners the last 2 times that we've presented in front of them. And now our next step really is to reach out to each commissioner separately, to have a conversation with them, you know, what does this look like, et cetera. So that is our next step. And then I would like to put together a committee. I know we're a little like, you know, shy on these committees team, but we'd like to put together a committee so that we can create a really robust tour, because at this point now we have a great team and we have different folks, you know, different law enforcement that could give us, you know, some really great input, as well as some great allies. And so I'm going to ask you, you don't have to like commit today, but we will send out an email and ask, we just need a couple of folks to just kind of jump in and say, hey, you know, we're going to help you out on this. We'd like to, you know, work with you to put together this tour, because I personally feel that once the commissioners go out and they really see with their own eyes, you know, boots on the ground, what's really happening, you know, we have their support. We know we have their support. But only imagine if they really see what we see. How much more support will we have? So there's that. Any questions about the tour before we move on to our next item? Okay, good. All right. Then the next that is in, and this is in your packet. So the Children's Network, and thank you so much earlier about speaking about what you're doing with Chance, by the way. Love Chance and that entire program, so I'm very excited. About you moving forward with this. So we have been asked as a commission, right, if we would go ahead and if we would support the Children's Network by basically writing a letter of intent or a letter of support. So the letters are included in your packet, so we just wanted to make sure that everyone on the commission is aware that we would like to go ahead and send out a letter of support. It's in the back of your packets, and it's going out to several different representatives. I'm not going to take the time for each representative that it would be going out to, but just collectively, you know, that we would like to go ahead and offer our support to the Children's Network. Lisa, I'm not sure, is this something that we need to vote on? And I apologize for not understanding that. I just got back in town, so again, I'm sorry for...
Yes, ma'am, you would ask for a vote to offer the letter of support. So if there's anything contained within the letter that you would want to edit, take out, if you would want to add, or if you would decide that this is not something that the commission would want to partake in, then, you know, that's why we would ask for a vote. It's a little bit unusual for a letter of recommendation or support to be sent by a committee, or in this case, a commission. The Board of County Commissioners does send letters of recommendation. Staff, on occasion, will send a letter of recommendation in support of an appropriation request, but I'm not aware that any commission or committee has ever done one on its own. So that would just be a word that this is not usual business.
Okay, thank you. And as it might not be usual business, and so that you all know, it originally came to me, right? And as the chair, I did not feel that it was my place to make that decision, and that's why it's being brought in front of you. Okay, so I'm sure that maybe you might not have had a chance, so if you want to just take a moment and just very briefly, run through the letter and just make sure that everything is fine with each and every one of you before we go ahead and take a vote.
Could
Yeah,
I just,
of course.
if we decide to move forward, I think there should also be some language in here about the recent 122 children that were recovered, and 47% of those children are from Tampa. So I think that would be something to include if we're going to move forward. And would there be any contraindication of us sending to the Board of, from the Board of County Commissioners if we send and not the BOCC? I'm just wondering if there's going to be any kind of pushback.
Before this is sent, I would run it by the legal department and have their input on the contents of the letter, and certainly it can be revised to whatever it is you want to say or whatever it is you don't want to say. And, mentioning the 122 children that were recovered, and that, just to be clear, is not just from Tampa, but Hillsborough County, correct?
Correct, to my knowledge.
Anyone in law enforcement want to jump in here?
Law enforcement, yes.
Yes.
Detective.
I assisted in the operation, you're correct, it's from.
Thank you.
It's from the Tampa Bay area, so it includes Pinellas County, Pasco, and Hillsborough.
Okay.
Well, and the 47%,
47% are from the Tampa Bay area.
Tampa Bay area.
Which includes Pinellas, Hillsborough,
Okay,
and
got it.
Pasco. Yes.
Not specific Hillsborough, but Tampa Bay area.
Exactly, that's
got it.
correct.
Okay, I'll make a note of that.
But I believe we just had another sting operation, right? And was it youth, only youth that were recovered? Was it 11 youth that were just recovered? Or did I make a mistake on that? And I'm sorry if I did.
No, it was, there was 11 total arrests and 2 adults and 1 youth recovered.
Okay. Okay, so my only concern, Vice Chair, would be if we have another sting operation in between when this goes out, right, and it's very specific to Hillsborough, the numbers keep changing, where as I'm reviewing this, it's just very clear about percentages and that collectively. So as I support that we really want to get the different operations that we are doing here for Tampa Bay, which is incredible, the work that's being done in Tampa Bay, that would be my concern, is the different operations.
Question, agreed. I think the statistics should be included as long as we're accurate. Is there a time sensitivity to this letter, and do we have time to make edits? And lastly, did staff make any recommendations or suggestions about things to remove from the document or to put into the document so we can expedite the process?
So I would ask, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but the Children's Services Department, Director Mincy is here, and Heather, they're here all the time, so you know the project manager for the recent funding that the Board of County Commissioners gave to the Children's Network through the recommendation of the Commission on Human Trafficking. So if they have any concerns, certainly they would, having worked directly with the Children's Network, would have, I guess, more of an opinion than I would have. because I did not work directly with the Children's Network. And Attorney Cromartie Mincy is with us virtually. She's not obviously here in person, but I think the staff question would be directed to the legal department.
Do we have what's the time frame? I think that was the other key piece
yeah.
as to
Sorry.
what the turnaround time needs to be for you guys, for Children's Network.
It's my understanding that the letters would need to be sent to House Representative Driscoll and Senator Russo by Friday. However, there's usually a grace period for any recommendations to be able to be sent to support the documentation. But our internal deadline was to provide it to them by tomorrow.
And as for the record, please state your name.
Alice Lydia Bird.
Thank you.
Children's Network.
Thank you, Ms. Bird. So yes, the application packet has a deadline, but the recommendation letters, because we've, as staff, we've done this before, can come later because appropriations are not, they travel through the system and it's a long timeline, before the session hasn't even started in Tallahassee yet.
Right, but there still is a deadline of letters of support. There still is a deadline. Traditionally, it's 30 to 60 days out, and not, my understanding, typically they would rather see them 30 days out.
Well, out from session. I mean, because appropriations aren't going to be heard until the Florida legislature is in session. This is an appropriation request.
Exactly, but typically when the whole package goes in, they would like to see letters of support within 30 days.
Right, so that would put us at the end of December.
Right. Is there any way that we could get clarification on the final date?
Yes, I would be able to do so.
Yeah, because Friday, I don't believe we're going to be able to make that timeline
No.
tomorrow.
No.
Yeah, that's not going to be a reality for us.
Yes, I don't think that was the understanding. Our package would be sent out, and then it was our understanding that any further letters of recommendation that we would be receiving, whether it's from you or any other community partners, could be sent at a later date. But I could get that clarification.
Yeah, that would be great. That would help us tremendously.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. No, thank you.
And I would just want to say that, and Attorney Cromartie Mincy, you might want to jump in here, but a vote to send the letter today would be, it wouldn't be this letter, right? Because you're going to make some changes to it. So if you vote today, you vote knowing that the language of the letter will change.
Madam Chair, may I propose a motion that staff and Hillsborough County Legal look at this letter, make the adjustments necessary, bring it back to you for signature to send out? Is that good enough?
Is that in the form of a motion?
Yes.
We're playing Jeopardy here.
Yes. Propose that motion.
Okay, thank you.
Second, anyone would like to second the motion?
Before a second, the only consideration would be that some members of this group should at least be informed as to what those changes were in addition to the chair. And that there should be some kind of even Zoom proxy agreement by 3 or 4 other members so that we have full transparency.
So the draft of a revised letter can be sent out, but there is no proxy voting. The voting by Florida statute has to be in person with a quorum. So we can change it, draft it, send it out, and entertain, whether or not you have other suggestions for revisions, but there would not be an opportunity to hold a vote on whether or not the revised letter is suitable.
Right, then I would recant the idea about a vote and just simply say that for the purpose of transparency, 3 or 4 people or the whole group should be informed as to what the final letter looks like in its edited form.
Yeah, I
and then
would
we should
send
be
it to the
allowed
whole
input.
I would send it to the whole membership.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'll accept that as part of the motion.
So do you want to restate your motion?
Yeah, it's not necessary.
Now we're in trouble. Did you get at least-
It's not necessary. I've got it.
I think the motion is that we allow staff, Hillsborough County staff and legal department to look over the letter, make whatever necessary changes are appropriate, send back a draft to staff to distribute to the commission before you sign and forward. Is that good enough, Alec?
I'd second.
Thank you.
All in favor? All opposed? Motion passed. Thank you.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is the anti-human trafficking media campaign. And I believe that Vice Chair Groover-Skipper is going to take that item.
In addition to our packet today is this packet of information from FKQ. Had the opportunity to virtually meet with them a couple days ago with Ms. Monteleone to discuss the proposed changes and refresh of the media campaign that they are charged to do. And if you look, let me find it. The first couple of pages, I know for time's sake here, you can read, what we've already discussed with them, their target audiences, geography, key venues, creative messaging platform. And then on the next page, they just offer big events that are coming to Tampa that would be a great way to educate individuals as they come to some of these events. There's a campaign overview with the campaign summary, again, continuing, Don't Buy It Tampa Bay. And the summary would be, it would start January 1st of 2026 and run until September 30th of 2026. The overall investment would be $200,000, and as you can see, the estimated impressions would be 90 million impressions for this campaign. What we talked about, the next page, refresh the creative platform. We think they've done such a great job with the first media campaign that they have done, the first 2 or 3 campaigns that they've done. So just kind of building off what they've already done, but refreshing the campaign so it maybe has a little bit different look to it, a visual refresh. And part of that visual refresh would be, it was suggested to explore a new color palette. So it's a little more, I guess, bold and brighter to catch the attention. We're not quite sure how this color palette, the current one, was used. We think maybe it was to match our logo, the Commission on Human Trafficking, but I'm not sure. But really to look to see what kind of color palette they could use to refresh the look of the campaign, to keep, the messaging fresh. So that was one thing that we talked about. We also talked about exploring the mural artwork. We're fingers crossed that our mural artist, Leah Tinsley, would be able to paint the mural in January. I don't know, Lisa, where we are with that?
Still working on it.
Okay.
The staff reviewed the maintenance agreement, come on board with that. Mr. Klug, who I spoke with before he departed the meeting, is going to work on that for us.
Okay. But the thought was kind of incorporating the look that is in discussion. Also, the need to include the Hillsborough County logo on, the campaign, which I'm not sure if it currently does or not. But to include the Hillsborough logo and/or the Commission on Human Trafficking logo, so we know, the public knows that we're here and this is the campaign from the county. So you can see the website, resurrection and refresh plan. But they need to rebuy the website domain. Lisa, you can probably explain it a little better than I. So to repurchase the website domain that is still available, and then utilizing that website for, the landing page and all of the information. So you can see reactivate the existing site, then updating the content and resources, and then ongoing hosting and maintenance would also be involved with maybe an additional fee for FKQ to do. So we're looking at annual costs that would be in addition to the website hosting, the domain renewal, which in their thought it shouldn't be that much, and then any new pages for or functionality that we want with the website.
Yeah, I had asked follow-up questions. I think you were copied on my emails, but they did clarify that the $200,000 includes the web page setup and social posts for paid media, and they're going to lean heavily into the video for the creative, but will also run static image ads. So whatever they create for other forms of media would be utilized here as well. I mean, for, efficiency and consistency.
Right, right.
But it does include their setting it up. Now, if you look at the fine print on the domain name, you'll see it's 1 penny for the first year.
For the first year,
And
right.
then it's with a 3-year registration. So I've requested, what that fee would be, because that would be an ongoing expense.
Right.
So the initial website, to answer the question, what happened with that, was it was set up specifically to cover the time period of the Super Bowl,
Super Bowl.
and WWE. And then it was not it was not refreshed when I came on board. So I asked that it be taken down because it was not being maintained. And the information that was on there was very old.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So that's what happened to the website in the
So
first
they
one.
basically would be reactivating our former website.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the video, they are speaking, hopefully, with Titus O'Neill
Yes.
again. And then the rapper, what's the rapper's name?
Doechii.
Doechii.
So I wouldn't go down that road just yet because we haven't reached out yet.
Okay. They also are going to develop a social media campaign for us and a page setup for social media, which we've been wanting for a long time. We need to get with the times and have some kind of social media presence. So FKQ would be doing that for us, a standalone social page, specifically for the Don't Buy It Tampa Bay campaign. And you're not going to go through all the details. You can see it here, but they lay out what they would do and how they would do it. Again, that would be starting January 1st, 2026 through September 30, 2026.
Right, and if I may, the committee that was formed to make recommendations and to review will be meeting the first week of December.
Yes, perfect, perfect. So then if you continue looking in the packet, you see that they will continue with the car wraps, Uber and Lyft car wraps, transit wraps with buses, and airport digital signage, and billboards, bulletin boards. So that's also in the campaign that they are planning to do with the new refresh look of the campaign. So Lisa, have we gone over everything that's pertinent, I guess, for this?
Yes, and I want to just stress that the social media will not include direct messaging So that will be turned off. We don't want anybody to think that, they can just reach out and, get help through the social media platforms, because it's not monitored 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I know that was a concern of those around the table when this was discussed quite some time ago. So, that has been taken off the table, and I believe it's mentioned in their presentation. They will be running paid ads. So although the setup for the page is included in the $200,000, we haven't explored the cost of the paid ads that would run on social media. From experience, they're a lot less expensive than running, TV or radio.
Yes.
So it'll add a cost, but we're not entirely certain what that cost would be. And the ads would run the fiscal, until September 30th of 2026, when the fiscal year ends for us.
Okay. So do we need to vote on any of this?
Well, yes, to engage the procurement department to move forward with a contract for FKQ, or if anyone is not comfortable doing that, putting it out for an RFQ. It's a matter of what direction do you want to go? Do you want to continue with FKQ and the campaign, or do you want to put this out for qualification, a request for
I
qualifications?
guess that's the question to the commission.
Mhm.
Any thoughts?
My only thought is that I think consistency of the message is vitally important. I think that switching to another firm right now would be just a rediscovery process that would take more time and consumption of resources and would have benefit.
Agreed, and we'd love to be ready, this all be ready to go by January. Any other thoughts?
Hopefully before January.
Hopefully before January.
Hopefully before
True.
January.
True. So, did you want to say something?
Oh, just real quick, are we under contract with them or with that?
We are not currently. The motion would be to engage them in a contract.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Mhm.
Oh, never mind, that's fine. Draw my question.
Would anyone like to make?
I just would like to.
Yes, please.
And then the others, and thank you, Alex, also for the consistency of the messaging, but also to look at, because we have been in partnership with them, pricing, financial. They have been out creating this messaging, and then, of course, the partnership with Visit Tampa Bay also. At the end of the day, we're going to get the best for our money, staying with them. And so at this time, if we can have someone go ahead and
And also, I want to say that the $200,000 is not all the money is not going to FKQ. Their portion for the creative work that they do is only a portion. The majority of the money will, as it has in the past, goes to the actual purchasing of the media. So most of that money is simply a pass-through for FKQ to go out and buy the media. And they do get a lot of bang for their buck because of the relationships.
Yes.
Yeah, we get a lot of freebies.
And thank you, Lisa, for mentioning that, because there has been a lot of conversation, around the fact that they have been the agency of choice for the commission for this campaign, since it started. And, we have explained that their agency does not keep all the money. It does not go to them, that they do disperse it back out. So again, thank you for making that point and explaining it.
So I would make the motion that we re-engage FKQ and proceed with a contract with them.
Do we have a second?
We have a second.
Okay, so first and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, it passes. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. We're very excited about that. Yes, we love this campaign. And then I would like to share with you, so on November 10th, and I'm sorry that Board Member Gray is not with us.
Yeah, she had a conflict, so she had to leave early.
Yes, and so, but she actually spearheaded this. She had reached out and that she invited Lisa and I to a meeting with Mayor Castor. So we met with the mayor on November 10th. And it was for several different reasons, but it was really about coming together, with the Hillsborough County School Board, and there are several different initiatives that they have, as well as the Commission on Human Trafficking, and just really to brainstorm and to talk about what could we do collectively, in Hillsborough County, for our youth, but also, around human trafficking, and what could we do. And so it's really pretty interesting, some of the different initiatives and conversation that we had for about an hour or more with the mayor. I don't know if any of you have ever sat down and had a conversation, a one-on-one with the mayor, but typically it's about a half an hour. And then when you walk out, there's people out there staring at you, right? Well, we were over an hour, and there was a lot of people out there, not just staring at us, but they were like, who are you people? So anyway, but...
no, they were very friendly.
They
and
were
I know
very
each
friendly,
and every
but you
one
know
of
how
them.
that is. When it's your time, you're like, man. But anyway, but some of the things that were interesting, so the mayor actually talked about having some kind of like a youth council. The Hillsborough County School Board, right now they have a student online safety that they go out and they go to the different schools, et cetera, and talk to the parents and whatever. And so one of the things that came back really was about maybe possibly having something under the mayor and the mayor's youth council. There was also about making sure that the Hillsborough County Public Schools, that the resource officers are trained. They are. They're already trained, under FDLE and the Florida education, and they take a 4-hour class already, so that is already being done, so that was just re-emphasized. About vouchers for children that were trafficked, and so, we talked about different entities and different partnerships that could be done, such as with the Children's Board, the Hillsborough County Public Schools, they have a program, with HEF, which is their Hillsborough County Education Foundation, of course, the BOCC, and other different, John Newman, and other different areas. So what can we do for our youth, that are within Hillsborough County, and also within our school system, what kind of vouchers can we provide? And then, of course, our district-wide campaign, and of course, we know that we already talked about Don't Buy It Tampa Bay, but also what can we also do collectively? And so she was very empowered, very engaged, and was excited. She really liked our Don't Buy It Tampa Bay campaign. She thought that it was incredible. And again, thank you, Santiago, for what you did, because you really brought it home for us. Very appreciative for that. But how could we even bring in more of our community partners and work, more collectively, and empowering more our community partners around our messaging, et cetera. And then some just different headliners. Who could we bring in to drive the message home even more? And let's see. And then it was about even having a conversation, how can we bring in not just the Hillsborough County Public School District, but also our superintendent of schools. Van Ayers is incredible. Van Ayers, the superintendent, he is very pro. When I say very pro, he's very pro about getting the messaging out to the entire school district, about making sure that parents are educated and informed what is going on with their children, as well as the teachers and everyone that is within the district. The school district working with us as a Commission on Human Trafficking, and how we can partner, together. And so we just wanted to share with you about our meeting, and that there will be a follow-up meeting. And so if you ever have any suggestions of, coming together with the mayor or anyone else for us to go out and have conversations, please let us know. But we just wanted to kind of let you know of what our meeting was, what the follow-up is going to be, and what it's going to look like moving forward as we really make more connections and partnerships. You know, people think that we already have all these incredible partnerships, which we do, you know, but we have to go out and we have to engage in these partnerships, and we have to meet one-on-one with different folks with throughout the county. And yes, it starts with the mayor, and it, you know, trickles all the way down. So just wanted to share a little bit of our meeting from November 10th.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Is there any idea of meeting with the other two mayors, Mayor Plant City, Mayor of Temple Terrace, since we have representation here, and Mayor Ross or Mayor Kilton?
We can absolutely do that. Yes, thank you. Thank you. We'll go ahead and set that up, and I appreciate that. Thank you. Any other questions or input? And Lisa, I'm going to turn it over to you for a staff report, please.
Okay, thank you very much. So included in your packets was the proposed 2026 meeting calendar. It follows the same pattern as the calendars preceding it. So you can keep the Thursday, the fourth Thursday of the month, with some exception, obviously, because of the holidays. And the same schedule for the steering committee, it will also follow the same pattern. So I would like to have a vote to accept the calendar.
I'll move the calendar.
Well, thank you very much. I was waiting here with bated breath.
Second.
Thank you.
Am I allowed to second? I think I am.
Yeah, you are, yes.
And was
All
that
in
a
favor? There was a second.
Thank you.
Vice Chair? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed to accept the calendar.
Thank you. So just a membership update. It may or may not have been mentioned to the mayor that we have an open primary seat for the Tampa Police Department. She acted on that pretty quick. The next day I got a text message that Sergeant Shriver, who was the primary member, will be coming back to the board. So as a formality, her application has to go back through the Board of County Commissioners for processing. I mean, it's really a formality, but she will be coming back. We're really happy about that. Chair Rose did reach out to the Hillsborough County Hotel Motel Association, because with the departure of Beverly Mulniecki, who got her certificate of thanks today, the alternate has moved to Pinellas County. So he's no longer in Hillsborough to serve. So Beverly will speak to oh my goodness.
Yeah, Bob Morrison.
Thank you so much.
And I believe
I've known him for a very long time.
They've
I don't know
moved
why
on it. I
won't.
believe they have someone
Okay, great.
to forward to you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that update. I was worried that it was going to.
No, they
wait
sent it
until
out
their next
to the
board meeting.
membership and somebody stepped up.
Oh, fabulous. That's wonderful news. Okay, so hopefully we will soon have them back at the table. Moving on to the procurement summary. It has been a long time coming, but the housing voucher RFQ will be out on the street, and we should have responses in by the end of December. So those of you who are going to serve on the review committee, the scoring committee, Major Bauman, Member Petrolak, along with some of the staff from Hillsborough County, will be engaging in the scoring of that, the applications that come in. And I will keep you updated on the number of applications that were received and when that date will be for scoring. And so you all know that is a televised process, just like this meeting. It's held in the sunshine, so you can follow along by watching it on Hillsborough Television or any of our YouTube channels. I did ask for a report on the emergency phones distribution from the Crisis Center. They have, I think we distributed, or they purchased the phones in September. They have distributed one already, and that was to an individual whose trafficker destroyed her phone. So she had no means of communication to reach out for services. She is homeless. So that's, I think, exactly what the commission intended for those emergency phones and the use of those. So that's moving along. And I spoke briefly already about the maintenance agreement, and as soon as Mr. Klug has an update, which should be middle of December, I'll keep you posted on where we are at with that.
Lisa, do we know what the challenge is with the maintenance agreement?
So I was informed by the Florida Department of Transportation where the stanchions will be located is on FDOT property, which was a surprise to me because I had thought that that was in the right-of-way. But apparently they said it's their property. So Hillsborough County and the city of Tampa have a little bit of an issue of maintaining something that is not on either of their properties, and that it's on Florida Department of Transportation property. So it's a little bit of a hurdle. It's been a hurdle for some months now. And hopefully Mr. Klug has a magic trick up his sleeve and we can we can move this along next month. Not quite sure how to approach it.
It's like what the criteria the crisis center has in which they believe someone is eligible.
Well, it was more of we could expand it, because I'm just a little concerned. I know it's only been 2 months and it's one, but will we reach a point that we've allocated X amount of money, there will not been, all the phones have been dispersed, and is there a way that possibly when some folks have been recovered, that we could disperse out more phones than we are looking at doing at this point in time? I don't know if it's age.
I don't think it's an age issue. I can say in most investigations, we do refer people to the crisis center for, for care and help and that sort of thing, which is the whole reason, from what I understand, is we funded that, right, is because that's a one-stop shop for victim services. What I will say, if we want to expand it, maybe we can discuss whether we should expand that program to people that are vulnerable to human trafficking, not necessarily victims of it yet, but vulnerable to it. And I think that's a way to discuss whether or not we can reach more people by addressing vulnerabilities to prevent people from being human trafficking, as opposed to just simply serving those who are already victims. But those are obviously discussions we can have.
And I would say, add to that, and you can, any of those in law enforcement or in the field, not everyone goes to the crisis center. So maybe there's another outlet where those phones can be placed. I mean, and that would be, we funded the crisis center, but there's no restriction to say that the crisis center can't give, 5 phones to, and release those phones to a nonprofit, and, have the phones in other places around the county rather than just at that one location.
So then maybe that's what we have a conversation about, is how do we let other nonprofits or other entities, other law enforcement, et cetera, know that we have these phones, et cetera. Maybe that's a different, that's the conversation we have at some point.
I agree.
I know I'm looking at you.
Yeah, I know you. I feel like we're having a conversation here. Like just me and you talking. I agree. We can have a conversation about providing the phones to other organizations. Also a conversation, like I said, about maybe expanding the criteria in which we provide the phones. Yeah, I think all of the above. There's obviously some great organizations we've already partnered with. We can have discussions about it. They already provide other services. That could be another service that is provided.
And law enforcement has the care package bags that they distribute. I mean, there can be maybe a couple of those bags. Those I don't know what the right term for them are, but can contain a phone.
Well, what I would say is one of the things that we place inside those bags is contact information for some of the non-government organizations that provide services. Because obviously that bag in itself is meant to provide like immediate needs. So I think we can accomplish that without necessarily putting a phone in it, but just a way of contacting that organization so they know what services they provide, maybe a list of that. And like I said, it's already present in some of the bags. It's essentially like, hey, this is where you can get additional help. Yeah, so hopefully that answers that question.
Thank you. So we're at new and old business. So anyone have any new business?
I received an email from a woman that I think she's still involved with the Tampa Bay Chamber, but she's moved out of state, but she's still very involved in their executive committee. And she had told me about the crisis center having all of access to Narcan, and she wanted, so then she brought Clara Reynolds into the email thread, and Clara just wanted us to know that the crisis center has all of this Narcan that they want distributed. And Clara said she would be happy to have the crisis center come and make a presentation about Narcan, how to distribute it or whatever, but she just wanted us to talk to our networks to let everybody know that the crisis center does have a lot of Narcan that they want to distribute. So I just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention. Oh, and also Connie brought it to my attention that the date is wrong on our agenda page for our, no, it's right, no, it's wrong on the agenda page.
And correct on the calendar.
Yeah, our steering committee meeting is Thursday, it's December the 18th and not the 19th. So that's.
The 19th is a Friday.
Yeah.
My apologies.
That's all right.
That would be the date of the Citizens Advisory Committee that I also administer, so.
Yeah, good catch.
Sorry about that.
That's okay, I just wanted to bring that, it's right, you know, to everybody's attention, it's right on the other, other document that we voted on. Okay.
Yeah, it would be hard for me to be in both meetings at the same time. Actually, the same day, they meet at 10 a.m.
Well, you can make it happen.
I can make it happen.
Anything else? Any new business, old business? Go for it.
Well, I know January is Human Trafficking Awareness Month.
It is.
So again, we have talked about doing something for Human Trafficking Awareness Month as a commission. So here we are. It will be here before we know it. So, you know, I think at one point we had talked about a press conference, then we were hoping that the mural would be in process, but I'm not confident that that will happen.
It might.
It might, but what are thoughts about doing something as a commission, you know, just to alert the community that we're here and any kind of educational.
And I could add that when we, Chair Rose and I went to the Free Networks annual meeting, and they have a calendar of events that take place during Human Trafficking Awareness Month. I know the Crisis Center has a lot of work that they do.
There's a lot of activity in January.
And so we can join in on, you know, partner with either the Free Network, the Crisis Center, or any of the other, you know, events that are going on. I'm not sure necessarily that a standalone event may happen for the Commission on Human Trafficking. We did a press conference last year. I will touch base with Commissioner Cameron Cepeda. Neither commissioner is here today because they're attending the Florida Association of Counties Conference. But I can get with her office and see if she has planned for a presentation. It was one of the things we talked about with the mayor. For Human Trafficking Awareness Month, there's usually a presentation at the Board of County Commissioners meeting.
Right.
And we follow that up with a press conference immediately after. But we can work on that and discuss it at the
Okay.
steering committee.
I'd love to see that happen just from the county, you know.
Yep. So On December 18th, at the steering committee meeting, we will put that on the agenda.
And we talked about the date in January that the BOCC would be meeting. Was, I think, the 21st?
I will check. I think I have that document
Yes.
open.
Oh, the annual.
Yes, so January 21st is also when our annual report is due, so if you could please write that down. January 21st, please circle it big, because I would love all of you to be there, right? This is when we go and we give, remember, we used to only go once a year, right? Now they've asked us to come twice a year and give an annual report. And so we went the first time, right, we gave our report, and then we had to go back again, right, a month later, and we had so many of you that came back, right, and we were there in numbers, right? And so that was profound. Like, we really made such an incredible statement. So again, you know, I know that some of you, because with your positions, you know, you really can't speak, but even if you can be there, that says a lot. You're present, says a lot. So again, you know, it's going to be on the 21st, and then our hope is, again, we have not asked this yet, but our hope is that maybe on that day we could have a proclamation, possibly maybe we can do a press conference, who knows, maybe we can have the kickoff, you know, of the murals, et cetera. But if you could just really hold that morning of the 21st of January, I would deeply appreciate it. The Commission on Human Trafficking would deeply appreciate that. That would be wonderful.
Madam Chair, around January, the month that we observe anti-human trafficking, maybe if we're under contract with FKQ, they're very creative, get their thoughts on how they could get the word out without it costing anything.
That would be great.
Whether it's public service announcements, you know, something on any of our news channels, that is the month. So they're very good at leveraging those kinds of things. So
Could they help us maybe get on a couple of different,
yes.
we could do a couple interviews or whatever and really
Absolutely.
just push the campaign, et cetera? That would be great.
Absolutely, especially if they're ready to go on air with you to talk about the new refresh campaign, the social page, whatever they think they're ready to talk about. That would be a good idea too.
Right.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Vice Chair Groover Skipper has been on, is it WFLA? On the program?
Yes, with Gail Gallardo.
Yes, with Gail Gallardo.
And she's very open.
Yeah, she's very.
I'm going to be taping with her tomorrow, as a matter of fact.
Oh, there you go. Maybe you want to put that little, you know, message in her ear.
She's always been she's been a champion for years on this issue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And really, we couldn't have pulled off the press conference last year without the muscle of Visit Tampa Bay. So
Right.
they were very,
Absolutely.
very helpful to me in doing that.
Yeah. So thank you. Thank you, everyone. Well, with that, anyone who would like to, a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
All right, we have one. Who's second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passed. All
Happy
right, Thank
Thanksgiving.
you for a great meeting. Thank you, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving.